What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Jabcast. As always, I am Ben, and I am joined once again by my two lovely co-hosts, Jared and Alec. Start with Jared. How are you doing, man?
Oh, singling me out. I'm doing all right. Doing all right. You let out a little bit of a scream before we started recording. Are you doing all right?
Oh, I'm doing great after that. I really just had to get that out of my system, release all the tension. But
Good.
Alec, you've been a little quiet, man. How are you doing? Everything all right at home?
Yeah, it's still hot down here in Florida. In December. I think the high today is 81 degrees. Yeah, it's pretty
It's 33 where I'm at.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice toasty day.
I took a shower and immediately left my dorm. And the moment I stepped outside, my hair just froze. It's like stalactites. Yeah,
I miss those days, the cold weather and all that.
But yeah, we got a lot to get into. Got a lot to talk about. Jared, take it away. I wanna jump right into movies. I have a lot to say.
Yeah. So our movie of the week this week was The Power of the Dog. This is a new release on Netflix. I mistakenly called the director Jane Champion last time, and I realized it after the episode was over. It's Campion. There's no H. I apologize, Jane. I know you're listening. Longtime listener of the show. It will never happen again. But yeah, it just released on Netflix. I'll read the description here quick. A domineering rancher responds with mocking cruelty when his brother brings home a new wife and her son until the unexpected comes to pass. This is adapted from a book of the same name by Thomas Savage. Came out in 1967. So pretty old book. It's got a great cast: Benedict Cumberbatch, Kirsten Dunst, Cody Smith McPhee, Jesse Plemons, Thomasin McKenzie for 2 minutes of screen time. This also says Elizabeth Moss and Paul Dano, but I do not remember them in the movie at all. Am I crazy, or are they not in it?
I don't remember them either.
That's strange. I'll have to. Huh. Okay. Maybe sometimes their scenes will get cut, but they're still, because they still got paid, so they're still credited on the movie. But okay, yeah, it's a little weird. But yeah, you got your Benny C's, your Kirsten D's, your Cody McPhee's, and your Jesse P's.
Excellent.
Nice big cast. Yeah, do you like that? Yeah, I'll go into it first. This is I guess tonally, well, no, from a story perspective, it's a lot like Brokeback Mountain, but you don't really realize it until much farther into the movie. Benedict Cumberbatch's character is this. He was the rancher that the description was talking about. He's just a big hard ass, your typical cowboy, really dirty, just living off the land type of thing. And he's irritated with Kirsten Dunst's daughter or son, who's Cody Smith McPhee, because he's he wants to be a surgeon. He's not manly, and things of that nature. And as the movie progresses, you kind of find out that this hardened outlaw rancher persona that Cumberbatch's character is putting on is all a ruse, and he's actually a closeted gay man, and all the things that Cody Smith McPhee's character is doing irritates him because he's living his life how he wants to live, whereas Cumberbatch thinks he has to hide behind this false persona. And there's little hints that are dropped throughout the movie as it goes along. You kind of put the pieces together, and yeah, we can get into more of it as the other guys talk. But just as far as my thoughts, it was kind of slow, but I did enjoy it. The performances were great. Cinematography and direction were fantastic. Sound design and the music were really, really well done as well. I just thought it went on maybe a little long at some points, and I was reading that it actually left out a lot from the book even. So it could have been longer. But I think that's just an adaptation from the book. Jane Campion probably did it as best she could. I've heard she's a really talented director. This is the first time I've seen her work, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I like the story. It's kind of nuanced, but it was a fun watch, just not one of my favorites of the year. I'm gonna throw it over to Alec now. Alec, what did you think?
Uh, yeah, a lot in the same vein as you. I wasn't a huge fan of the movie overall, but the sound design and music and all the audio throughout the entire movie was phenomenal. Um, I don't quite have the same eye for cinematography and all that stuff that you do, but it looked pretty good. I have a hard time telling that kind of stuff apart from movie to movie or TV show to TV show, but the sound design and the music was perfect in my mind. But there was a lot of points throughout this entire film where I was getting kind of a little bit lost, a little confused. Um, it seemed almost like there's something's going to happen later that's going to pick up the pieces and put them together, but it kind of seemed more like the pieces just got closer together and didn't fully connect, and you had to just make an assumption. Um, I'm not a huge fan of making assumptions about characters in a movie
Yeah.
because I feel like if I'm making assumptions about certain characters, then it could not that they care, but the director the director knows what is supposed to happen with these characters. And if people are making assumptions about those characters, that is not what the director was planning. I feel like the directors can get kind of upset about that, whether they do or not. I don't know. I just have that kind of in my head that it's kind of like making assumptions on people, like, or
Yeah.
it is a work of art. So you're judging that person's art. I don't know. I don't like making assumptions on characters' arcs and their own stories just because I don't always know it. I like it when the director's like, this is what's supposed to happen.
Right.
Here's what's wrong with the character. Here's what's good about the character, blah, and so on and so forth. But other than that, it was an all right movie. I don't think that if I were scrolling through the channel guide, I'd stop and watch it.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. And I get what you're saying about not being overt with like the perceptions of the characters. Because if you make a wrong interpretation of one, it could completely change what you're supposed to get out of the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, I completely get that.
And
Ben, what
that's
about you, man?
Yeah, this was not at all what I thought this movie would be like about. I was expecting like a typical Western, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Based on like the promotional material I had seen, but I was wrong. I wasn't upset about it. I still think it told a pretty compelling story. Um, but some of the technical stuff I just wasn't a fan of. A lot of like overholding shots, just like way like just scenes that went on for way too long. Um, Performances were good, as Jared said. I really like Jesse Plemons as George. He wasn't in the movie like a ton. Like the movie just wasn't really about him, but when he was there, he made a difference in the scenes. Um, Benedict Cumberbatch is good as always. That's kind of the reason. Like that kind of helped me stay like engaged with the movie because his performance was really good. Um, yeah, I think that this movie thought that it had a lot to say about like sexuality and how it's perceived by other people, but I don't really think it ended up saying much of anything. Because then it just kind of like unceremoniously ended. And I don't feel like any of the characters were any better off than they were before, really.
Right.
Which I guess is fine, like if that's the point of the story, but to me it was kind of dissatisfying. But yeah, considering I was not expecting it to even be about anything regarding homosexuality or whatever, um, I think it did a pretty good job of keeping me engaged. But yeah, it wasn't the best movie. I think the story was interesting, but it kind of lost me at points.
There's one scene that completely caught me off guard, and it was towards the beginning. I think it was the first 20 minutes. And they're in like the main house.
Yeah.
And it's at night and it cuts to, and I think it's Benedict Cumberbatch. It cuts to him hula hooping
Yeah.
right next to the house. It's like, and then it felt like out of a comedy because it's a big drawn back shot.
Mhm.
And you can barely see him. You can see like the silhouette, and then you see that guy walk like in the background and pause and just stare at him like, what the hell is this guy doing? And then Benedict Cumberbatch just freezes and stares at him. And I guess the hula hoop drops when he does that. I can't remember, but yeah, it was so weird. It felt so out of place.
It was like a blooper that they like captured on set.
Yeah. Like he was just trying to get into character, so he was hula hooping for some reason before the cameras are rolling.
Yeah.
Which I also didn't even know hula hoops are that old.
Who knows?
But yeah.
Another thing about this movie that I really kind of felt off by is that it seemed almost like they were just filming how life was back then, and Phil happened to be gay and was hiding it, which again, back then everyone hid it.
Yeah.
When this was set, there was nobody who was open, very few, if any, were openly gay at the time.
Right.
But it like the conflict between Phil and Rose never really went anywhere. It just overall was, it seemed like it started like 6 storylines and character conflicts and never just finished them. It seemed like it was just filming everyday life for these people during this time.
That's probably down to adapting the book. I feel like in the they probably had a lot more time to like wrap things up, but in a movie that's already moving as slow as it is, they probably don't want to just like add another hour of content into the final cut.
They don't.
Yeah, it probably could have been like 2 parts.
Yeah.
The biggest,
they weren't feeling the Irishman style filming here.
The biggest crime in this entire movie is that Benedict Cumberbatch jerked off into a handkerchief and then immediately tied it around his neck.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Come on.
What was the rating of this movie? R. Yeah. Don't let your children watch this on Netflix.
No, unless you want to explain a bunch of things to them.
Yeah. Because it's not a lot. It's not like there's not a lot of like bad words or like openly sexual activity. It's just a lot of inferences that you have to understand what is happening.
Handkerchief and
just
oh, and also nudity.
Yeah,
lots of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I doubt 8-year-olds scrolling through Netflix are gonna want to watch this anyway. Maybe they'll see the word dog, but
yeah, that's the only thing that I could see is they run across the word dog and then they're like, ooh, let's watch that.
But then they realize it's not Paw Patrol and they keep scrolling.
Yeah, probably.
Unless you're Ben, and then you immediately turn it on.
I would keep watching.
But yeah, this brings me to this is good that we all kind of had the same general feeling about this movie. Not that we didn't like it, but that it just felt like maybe it was doing more than it should have or that it thought it was. Because what I immediately thought when the movie ended was that this is Oscar bait. What is Oscar bait? I'm sure a lot of people know, but basically it's exactly what it sounds. It's a movie that's made to win Oscars, which is kind of strange because you want your movie to be good when you make it. You want it to be critically acclaimed. That'd be great. You'd love for it to win best sound design, best acting. Like no one's making, there are definitely people that are making movies where the goal is to make money and they're not that concerned with it, but there's still an element of quality for every movie that they're trying to achieve. So they're shooting for the best of in whatever terms they've set. Like I'm sure Red Notice, they don't think they're winning any Oscars, but Gal Gadot and The Rock and Ryan Reynolds still wanted to give their best performance. And if that happened to get them a nomination, whatever. But yeah, Oscar bait. And I think that's really what we're looking at here with The Power of the Dog. The direction, those shots I was talking about, getting a star-studded cast with all the people that I listed off. Do you guys think this was an Oscar bait movie? And can you think of any others in recent history, maybe that you've seen, some that flopped, that you thought would be good and they ended up being terrible, no awards, whatever.
This is absolutely an Oscar bait movie, like without question. Usually, to me, an Oscar bait movie is something with like a huge cast, like you said, but also something that's like more mature, like subject matter wise. Something that like you would go on like Rotten Tomatoes and like half the people would be like, "Oh, this was like slow. I didn't get it." And the other half would be like, "This is a masterpiece."
Yeah.
Has to be like something divisive, either like technically or narratively. Yeah, just a really slow, like beautifully shot movie with like challenging subject matter. Really,
Right. Yeah.
definitely is an Oscar bait movie. Other examples. I'm looking up like a list on like Google.
Yeah.
The one has like War Horse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we're looking at the same list.
You guys on Screen Rant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest offender on this list that I've seen so far, and it's also the first one I usually think of, is The Blind Side.
Oh yeah.
It's not so much anymore. Although one did win an Oscar a couple years ago for it, is the white savior thing. That's been a thing for a while. The Blind Side, while true, is still one of the worst offending elements, I guess you could call it. Green Book from 2018, I think 2017, 2018. That was a similar thing. And then there are movies that are made specifically for the actor to win the Oscar, and that's like The Revenant.
Yeah.
With DiCaprio. It seemed like before anything even came out about that movie, people were saying Leo was going to win an Oscar for it, which he did. Which even more exposes the Oscars for maybe being more political than genuine, I guess. Yeah.
My biggest gripe with like Oscar bait movies is how they totally like they use like emotional subject matter like as a crutch. They have a really sad story and then they just like skimp on like production and like plot and everything else. Because then like in The Blind Side, it's not like a great story. The like set design and like costume design is like really average. But because like it's something that people perceive as sad, people think of it as like a great movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's be sad and you can also like just like not be good.
Yeah.
Movies especially. What movie was I just looking at? Like Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. It's like a like sad subject matter, but it's not like a great movie. Like it doesn't do like anything well just besides like being sad. And I feel like people are often fooled by that, and sometimes like people in the Academy are fooled by that because they're like,
Yep.
"Well, the movie made me sad, so it must be good."
Right. The emotional attachment, and a lot of times they're true stories, so they're not even like The Blind Side. That actually happened, so they didn't even write that to make it sad. They specifically picked it out of real life and went, "Hey, we should make this movie because we think it'll
want to
get
know
attention."
why. I want to know why they chose that, because there's a lot of NFL players who have similar or even more heart-wrenching stories than Michael Orr. So I want to know what made them pick his story.
Were there a lot of people that had the white savior side of it?
Oh, I don't know about that, but
yeah,
I know there's a lot of people who were in the in similar situations as Michael Orr and didn't have a savior, but still made it just as far.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
It's pretty impressive.
They need to, for some reason, movies need to have not need to have a white savior, but they just need to have someone helping the person. For some reason, that's seen as better than them. And I'm not dissing Michael Orr or anything like that.
He had a great career. He was an amazing athlete.
Yeah, I'm not trivializing his hardships or anything like that. I'm saying from a producer's perspective, for some reason, they prefer to have another character help them get there. I guess they need that dynamic. It's like I don't know, more interesting or whatever to them. But oh, I didn't even know The Blind Side was a book before.
Maybe that's why they picked it.
Books are also easier to
adapt.
Yeah, because you really don't have to write anything there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Tim McGraw was in Blindside. I'm forgetting a lot about this movie.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not really a football movie kind of guy.
Yeah, I know, but I watched it.
Yeah. But what do you say we head into what we're gonna watch next, since you didn't take a trip to the movies?
Yeah, it's nothing came out last weekend. Hoping to have something next week. West Side Story, if I can get there. Trying to find a time with my family. It might have to wait another week, and if that's the case, I think Spider-Man will be my next ticket or miss it. So, but yeah, Ben, why don't you tell us what we're gonna be watching? This is your week.
Yeah, we're gonna be watching the Boondock Saints. I did not know that this was my week to pick a movie, so Jared had to throw out some suggestions for me, and I agreed with the first thing that he said. Um, from 1999, it has a great cast: Norman Reedus, Willem Dafoe, two of my favorite actors. No idea what this movie's about. I assume it's some kind of crime thriller. So I'm going in completely blind. Really excited to watch it. So that's really all I have to say. Do you guys know anything about it?
Nope.
No, you just listed everything I knew about it. I did just read a description. They're protecting themselves from the Russian mafia.
Cool. Yeah, very excited. Not very long, only an hour and 50 minutes. So
Yep, I'll take
very
it.
excited. All right. Onward.
Now, onto television.
Yes.
As we talked about on the last episode, today we will be discussing Only Murders in the Building. This is a new Hulu series from this year. It's starring Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez, among some other people. As you can kind of tell from the title, which is a bizarre title structure, if you ask me, but they all live in an apartment complex together, and there are like technically two murders that go down, and they get really roped into it, and they start developing a podcast together. This podcast starts building up more and more listeners, more intrigue in New York. The apartment complex is in New York, and it slowly builds up, builds up, builds up. It's your classic murder mystery type thing, but it's stretched out in the form of a series, which we don't see as often. Yeah, I really enjoyed this show. I didn't think I would. I wasn't even going to watch it originally, but I thought that you can't really pass up a Steve Martin and Martin Short project. Neither of them do too much work anymore, let alone together. And they're a dynamic duo in the comedy world. And this is like a dramedy, I guess. It's still got a very serious story, but it's definitely funny as well, which I think is perfect. They really did well in that cross genre area. And Selena Gomez was a pick out of left field to be their the third of their trio, but I think it worked really well too. She kind of bounced off of them really well, being a I guess is she considered a millennial? I don't know how old she is, but they played her as a millennial, talking with some senile boomers. But yeah, I really enjoyed this show. It's really quirky. It's actually really clever. I'm big fans of Steve Martin and Martin Short, especially just their comedy style. And it really was a treat seeing them working together again. Ben, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was all right. Some of the humor didn't really land with me. I think because a lot of it was just pointing out like the age gap between the two older members and Selena Gomez. Wasn't a huge fan of Selena Gomez either. But the story I think was interesting. Kind of like a mystery within a mystery kind of thing. What else did I want to say? There was one point I wanted to make. It'll come back to me at some point. But yeah, definitely an interesting setup. The podcast aspect I thought was pretty interesting. You know, you see shows branch off into that. But yeah, it was just kind of pointing out how old Martin Short and Steve Martin are a lot of the time, which I guess was like fine. But if that's kind of like the one joke that they're just going to keep like using, it's going to get old pretty quick. But
yeah, that's fair. They are old. Steve Martin is 76, which he looks great for 76.
Yeah.
And Martin Short is 71. And Selena Gomez is 16. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
She is 29.
Yeah.
That's not 29.
Yeah,
That might be
right.
you
Born
saying
in 92.
I can't believe that.
I was just thinking about that the other day. Like all these, like when I was watching this, all these Disney and Nickelodeon stars that we grew up watching, I thought they were legit our age, but they're like 10 years older.
Yeah. 29.
Crazy. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, they're not that much older than me. Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Wizards of Waverly Place. I don't know if you guys watched that. That was so
All the
long
time.
ago.
I loved that show.
Yeah. When did that? Not to get too off topic. I'm just curious when it first premiered. 2007, ended in 2012. So when I was watching it, I was 9. She was 15.
But she played like a 12-year-old.
No, I think she was in high school.
I don't remember.
I think. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
You want to feel old? Just look at the kid that plays Max Russo now. Look how much he grew up.
Yeah, he's crazy.
But yeah, we can talk about Wizards another day. That's a whole another episode. Alec, what did you think?
I liked it. I thought it was a different take on a true crime kind of setup. I don't know if I necessarily liked the podcast idea because I feel like Martin Short's character looked at it very much of like I feel like Martin Short's character and Steve Martin's character are both what's the word I'm looking for? Struggling, I guess you could say, or failed in the entertainment industry, or they're just way past their prime, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Better way to say that. Charles and Oliver, that's their names. I forgot them. Yeah, Charles and Oliver are way past their prime in their respective industries. And I feel like Martin Short is trying to just make money and monetize off of this. And Charles is trying to relive his glory, but he sucks. And Oliver also is not that good. But I think that's just something, I feel like that's also a reoccurring thing that keeps popping up with these two, as all along with them being old jokes.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know. I feel like I missed a lot more because like I'm not a fan of like true crime podcasts. I feel like they're all the same.
Yeah.
Just people in front of a microphone reading to me, and I don't like it.
Yeah. I agree.
But I don't know. I feel like I'm excited to see where season 2 goes with it. I think it'll I think it'll kind of pull things in a little bit tighter than where season 1 left it.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
What'd you guys think of Jane Lynch, the couple episodes she was in as what was his full name? Charles Hayden Savage as his stunt double. I thought that was hilarious. Because she had like a unisex name. I forget what it was, but he was talking about her, and then she shows up and they realize it's a girl. And she's doing a not perfect impression, but she's mirroring his movements as they're talking. She's like just doing it second nature. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, no, that's really funny. She's always really funny.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of hers.
I was expecting there to be a lot of cameos in this show, and there were a few.
Oh yeah, Tina Fey. Well, she was on the Fallon show, so Jimmy Fallon as well, technically.
Yeah, you can always count on Jane Lynch just kind of show up.
Yeah,
series like this.
I feel like there's one more I'm forgetting.
Me.
Oh yeah, and Ben as the murderer at the end.
Yep.
Oh, Sting. How could I forget Sting?
Yeah, Sting.
Yeah, there's a point where they thought Sting was
murderer.
The prime suspect.
Oh my. That twist was so uncomfortable to watch.
Which one?
when they go and confront Sting about
Oh yeah,
they think he
yeah,
murdered him, and that one was so uncomfortable. He was like, because Sting thought that he was the reason he committed suicide,
yeah,
but he was murdered. And Sting was like, "Oh, thank God! All right, not my fault." I was like, "What?"
yeah.
It was so. Oh my gosh, It was a little uncomfortable to watch that happen.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a good show. I'm excited for season 2 as well. That just went into production pretty recently. I don't know how far they're in. I doubt they're shooting yet. They're probably still finishing writing it, but yeah, pretty good. Next show, we've got McCartney 321. This is Rick Rubin will be talking to Paul McCartney. I don't know what the 321 is about, but he's McCartney is just going to be breaking down the inception, the duration, and the conclusion, I guess, of the Beatles and their career. So yeah, it's an all black and white. It's like a nice little documentary on a soundstage studio type setting. Very interesting. Looking forward to hearing what the guys think. Ben, why don't you take us away into music?
Yep, it's time for album discussions and trading, as always. I just have to explain the rules to everyone every episode.
Yeah.
Uh, we just give each other albums and then we talk about them. So we got to figure out like a good like way to go through this. Should we like Alec and I will talk about whatever. All right, so Alec and I are talking about Jared's album, "Oil of Every Pearl's Insides" by Sophie, the late Sophie. Alec, you go first. I want to hear what you have to say about this.
I wasn't a fan of this album. It sounded it sounded very sci-fi to me. I did like that it was incredibly original and unique. I've never heard anything like this album. So props to Sophie for being able to think outside the box and create and produce such a different album. But unfortunately, I just wasn't a fan of that style. But but like I said, it is incredibly impressive to make something that sounds completely different from everything you've ever heard. So I think that was just incredible. Other of the album and the artist, who unfortunately is no longer with us, like we mentioned last show. But Ben probably can give a little bit more of a in-depth thing, because I feel like he probably liked it a little bit better than I did.
Yeah, I liked it a lot actually. Sophie is an artist who I had heard of a lot over the last couple of years, but I had never listened to. And I did not realize how much Sophie had influenced my favorite artist until I listened to this. A lot of the industrial sounding samples and sounds that she used. Songwriting techniques, really the way choruses would blend into bridges and things like that. Just general sounds, songwriting structure, really influenced a lot of people that I listen to. JPEG Mafia is the first that comes to mind. Danny Brown is another one. Really like inaccessible, industrial sounding, experimental rappers mostly. Yeah. As for this music though, I think it was really good. I really liked this album. I had heard Face Shopping before, and I really like that song. So it kind of gave me a frame of reference for what the rest of the album would sound like. Immaterial was really good as well. Infatuation is another favorite of mine. Really solid across the board. Sophie really was a visionary. And I think that she'll continue to inspire artists for a long time. But yeah, it's really cool to finally have like a reference point for inspiration for like artists that I listen to. Because for a while I was convinced that like, oh well, like JPEG Mafia is the first to ever like, or like Death Grips like the first to ever use like industrial sounds in their music. But this is kind of a good like jumping off point. Yeah, I really liked it.
Good. Yeah, Alec, admittedly, I doubted you were gonna like this. I knew it was very out there, and it is very out there. It's it's about as abstract as music can go, as far as I listen to. But yeah, I do really enjoy it. I found actually I knew about her because I heard about her when she died, but I didn't check her out until it was actually Amine's new EP 2.5. He dipped into like hyper pop, what I talked about this album being. And then I looked up some hyper pop artists, and she was one of the first names that came up, and I recognized it, so I decided to check it out. Yeah, I'm a big fan. It's I think this is her only album, which is a shame. She's got like a full length. It's her only full length thing, I think. Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
She's got an EP called Product from 2015. But yeah. So yeah, rest in peace, Sophie. It's a shame. I would love to see what else she can do. But yeah. Now we can talk about Alex, what he gave us. He gave us Renewal by Billy Strings. I said I liked bluegrass, which I do, but I don't listen to a lot of it at all. I think this is my first bluegrass album from this year. I wasn't that big of a fan. I really wanted to, and the music sounds great. Each song on its own is really good. I had a good time just listening to it, but they all have the same kind of sound, and maybe that's just because I'm not that into bluegrass, like depth wise. I don't know a lot of artists. I don't listen to it that frequently.
Yeah.
So I guess I can't detect the minor differences, but I felt like at times I was listening to the same few songs on repeat.
Yeah.
My favorite song right out of the gate was the first song on the album. I can't remember what it is.
Know It All?
Know It All. Yep. Yeah, that was my favorite, and it really set the tone for better or worse for the rest of the album for me, because everything just ended up sounding like Know It All again. But one thing that I always can give credit to for a lot of country singers, even if I don't like their music, is they have great voices, and Billy Strings has a fantastic voice. I really, really enjoyed it. Even if he's singing about the same basic things, and was all the production just was it a banjo?
Yeah, it sounds like one to me.
Yeah.
If it
Which
was,
that's pretty cool.
If it wasn't a banjo, then I don't know what it was, because he fooled me, because that's exactly what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I have to admire that because not everything sounded exactly the same.
Yeah.
Maybe I was exaggerating a little bit, but I do have to admire making a pretty lengthy album with basically one main instrument. It's also a pretty simple instrument from what I can gather. Not as many strings as other things. So, but yeah, I liked it. It's just a little repetitive for me, but there are definitely a few songs I can pick out that I'll probably listen to again. Ben, what did you think, my man?
Yeah, I respect the craftsmanship, but I just wasn't really a huge fan of the sound. Similar to Jared, I can always kind of respect the work that went into it, and its uniqueness, especially his uniqueness in a genre that seems to just repeat itself a lot of the time. Yeah, but for me, I'm not a huge fan of like bluegrass or like country music or like twangy guitars or banjos or southern drawls, but I think this was actually pretty good. It was kind of better than I was expecting. Know It All kind of sounds like a Mumford and Sons cut, at least at the beginning. In the Morning Light, I think was also good. Hellbender was also good. But really that was kind of about it. I think similar to Jared, every other song just kind of blended together for me. I did like the really simplistic production. I think that it was kind of a bold step. Kind of using the same like one or two guitars, like one or two instruments. And I also think it kind of helped make the album more like cohesive, because it really made it feel like you're just kind of like sitting around like a fire, and he's like talking to you. But I do think at the same time it did make it a little repetitive. It's also kind of long. I mean, it's 16 songs in an hour and 10 minutes. I couldn't get through it all at once. I had to spread it out over like 2 or 3 days. But better than I was expecting. I'm not a bluegrass guy at all, but I really did enjoy some of the songs on here. I might go back and listen to some of his older stuff, if not just because of the album art.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They're all about the same length as Renewal. So I guess we'll see. But Yeah. Not as I don't know if this is what I should say, but not as bad as I was expecting. Uh, but not as good as I felt it could have been, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gave the guys a totally different album. I gave them Culture 2 by Migos.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
did you want to say anything about your album, by
oh
the
yeah,
way?
I'll give you the chance.
No, I just handed this one out because I know it's very different. Occasionally I'll listen to some bluegrass.
Yeah.
This album actually is nominated for the best bluegrass album in the
Yeah,
Grammy,
okay.
which is another reason why I gave it to you guys.
Yeah.
This is a nominee for pretty big award in the music industry. So I'm like, you know what? Let's throw this out there. And I listened to it before I gave it to you guys to see if I liked it, and I did. So I threw it in there, and I also looked up like key ingredients that you could say for bluegrass, and it's just a guitar, a double bass, a fiddle, five string banjo, mandolin, and a steel guitar.
Okay.
So a lot of the bass makes the same noise. The fiddle and the banjo and steel guitar makes similar sounds. So it's all kind of just strings.
A lot of strings.
Yeah.
Hence the name, right?
Yeah. But now we can get into whatever this other album was.
Yeah, whatever it is.
It had been a few years, so I figured, maybe we just need to re-inject Migos into society.
Yeah.
We kickstart.
Yeah, I'll start. Well, this definitely took me back to and I think I said this when Ben assigned it to us. It definitely took me back to a very specific period of my life. This came out at some point when I was in, let's see, I know it was freshman year of college. Yeah, January 2018. So yeah, freshman year of college, second semester, and this was all you heard anywhere you went. And
Yeah.
even leading up to it, the first single was October 2017. So I've been hearing it since then because it was Motorsport, and then Stir Fry, which the amount of times I heard the word stir fry in 2018, there's just like like those Google things where you see like search frequencies, it would just go like just like a little, just from that, because the chorus, they say it God knows how many times. But yeah, and I like that song. That's the craziest thing about it, is I loved it, and I was part of that reason. Oh, it's produced by Pharrell Williams, didn't know that. But yeah, it's not as good as Culture One. I don't know if Alec listened to the first Culture in anticipation for this, just so he can be well informed. You don't have to at all. It's not like they're actually sequels. If anything, they're just being less creative by not thinking of a different album title. But yeah, I mean, the features are good on this. You got Big Sean, Travis Scott, and Ty Dolla $ign on White Sand. Gucci Mane is on CC. Walk It, Talk It. Drake's on there. BBO, or Bad Bitches Only, has 21 Savage. Notice Me featuring Post Malone is probably one I listened to for the longest. And then you've got 2 Chainz on 2 Playa. But yeah, I think this is a lot of their I can't even think of a lot of songs off of the first Culture, but these feel like the second string songs of them. If you can, I don't know if that's how you can word it.
Yeah.
None of them seem as good as songs from the first Culture. Yeah, I don't know. Alec, go ahead.
I did not like this album. I also don't understand the song Narcos, when, like, I think it's the hook or the bridge where they say it's real rap, no mumble, but the whole album is a mumble rap album. I'm like,
Yeah.
excuse me, sir. This is the only part of this whole album I can understand.
Yeah.
And when you say the name of the song, like Narcos,
It's real rap, no homo.
or Walk It, Talk It. That's it. Like, I don't like mumble rap. All the beats sound the same. And like, and I think this is I feel like this is the whole reason I don't like Cardi B either, is because of motorsport. I feel like as soon as Cardi B started dating whatever one of the Migos
Oh shit.
now married to, aren't they married now and have a
Yeah.
kid? All of her, she just sounds like female Migos. Like it's all Migos production quality to in my is what I hear. And that's what I just don't like it.
Yeah. Ben, how did it feel for you revisiting this wonderful sophomore adventure?
Yeah, I remember this was everywhere. This 2018 was just ruled by Astro World and Culture 2. Yeah, this album is terrible. It really is. Like, objectively, but that doesn't stop it from also being like a lot of fun. Stir Fry,
Yeah.
I remember was a song I just had that on repeat like every day. So it's nice to go back a little bit. Obviously, it's not as good to me now. It's not even like good at all. I don't even think it was good then. I think I just had like it was just cool to like listen to.
Yeah.
It was the popular songs.
Right.
I literally felt like a prisoner listening to it.
The the songs on Apple Music have like the star next to them, like the most popular ones. Like those are okay. Everything else is really just like nothing. A lot of like nothing songs. It's really long too. I remember that was the big discussion background then was how like artists would just bolster streaming numbers by just packing their albums full of songs. Yeah, just not really a fan of this. I don't even know if I was really a fan then. Maybe it's like nostalgia, or not even nostalgia, because I'm not nostalgic for that time period, but just the general feeling that I get when I listen to it kind of excuses the mediocrity a bit. Yeah, I hope Migos are all right. I hope they're doing okay. Haven't heard from them a little bit.
I forgot they had Culture 3.
I think they forgot that they had Culture 3.
Yeah, that came out this year.
I had no idea it existed.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
It's the worst of the three because it's just completely unmemorable. I forgot it existed until now, and I listened to the whole thing.
I didn't even know that it existed in the first place.
Yeah.
They were just doing their PR.
I didn't think the Migos were even still doing songs.
Unfortunately, they are. Lots of them.
I honestly thought Quavo started doing like his own solo stuff.
Oh yeah, they did. Was it between 1 and 2 or after 2?
I think it was
after 2 they each came out with a solo album. And they were all pretty bad. Offset's was the best.
Quavo's was really bad.
Quavo's was just so bloated.
I don't remember Takeoffs at all.
Takeoffs made me realize that he is just God designed him to be a supporting character, I guess. He's good, like he stands out in Migos songs, but when you put him on his own, you realize because he is good. He might be the best out of the three, honestly. I prefer Offset, but I think from a technical standpoint, Takeoff might be the best. But you just realize that he has built his entire style off of that rap group creation, and he doesn't know how to, or didn't know, maybe he's figured it out, but he didn't know how to stand out in a song where he didn't know how to establish himself when he didn't have to make like a unique stamp in each song or within the trio, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Just felt weird.
I agree.
Culture 3.
It's incredible how little culture these albums have.
Yeah, right. And it's crazy because Migos themselves was a movement.
Oh yeah.
In hip hop. I remember when Versace came out with Drake.
Yeah.
I was like, who are these guys?
Incredible.
And then they did their first because they have that very unique like ad lib style. They kind of created that. They had a freestyle of the three of them where they're just working off of each other and nothing they're saying makes any sense. It doesn't really go together well at all, but you just see their chemistry and you feel it and you feel like you're a part of them. And I think that's part of the reason why they blew up so much. And I think, and Ben, you kind of touched on it too. They're just fun.
Yeah.
Like they're having fun and you're kind of living through them vicariously. And that's the best thing I can say about the Migos. But I do think it's very unique to them that they can kind of make this shared experience of their production that goes through into their music.
Where were you when you first heard Bad and Bougie? I can remember exactly where I was.
Oh man, I was that was senior year of high school.
Freshman year of college for me.
Bad and Bougie. When did it come out? Yeah, I know it was high school. I heard it from, I don't know how your guys' schools handled dismissals or whatever from like the parking lot, but we would go into the senior lot where all our cars were parked, and there'd be a little bit of time before we had to like line up to leave because the buses had to go first before we were allowed out. So people would hang out for a little bit. And I just remember one day walking past a car. I don't remember whose it was. But the window was down and I heard Uzi's voice. I was like, what is this? And I didn't know who Uzi was at the time either. And I thought it was crap. And I heard his feature. I was like, God, I hate that guy. And I do remember who the friend is now. And I went up to him. I'm like, you really listen to this garbage? He goes, yeah. I went, all right, man. And I walked away. And then a couple days later, I heard the full song. I was like, oh, I get it now. And the rest is history.
I was in sixth period math right after lunch. So I had a nice like chocolate milk and burger just digesting in my stomach. That's unrelated. But we were sitting in math and we had it was essentially like a work period. I think we were doing like a packet or something. And
yeah,
one of my friends was playing it out of his phone speaker. And I was like, man, this is like, I was a junior in high school. I had like no discernible like music taste. And I was like, wow, this is like really good. Like, I love this. He's like, Migos, man. I was like, who?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my introduction.
Now that I see this album, the Culture album, I kind of remember it, but it came out during my freshman year of college, which explains why I don't remember it at all.
I remember much from either, man.
I don't even remember Culture album cover. I don't even remember it.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it's like the
yeah, but thankfully nobody's giving that album to each other this week.
Right. This week I'm giving you Culture 3. No. So Jared, why don't you go ahead and tell us what album you're gonna give the guys for next week?
Yeah, I'm giving you guys Where Have All the Flowers Gone by Deb Never. She's a frequent collaborator with Brockhampton and Slow Tie. She's kind of in that, I don't know, like new wave pop, I guess. It's like a really gray area as far as genres go for me. It's kind of hard to define, but yeah, it's a nice little EP. I think it's like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I'm a big fan of hers. I like a lot of her songs, so curious to see what you guys think.
Yeah, album art, Alec. What do you think?
It looks very different. It kind of looks like it would have been released in like the 2000s. You know what I mean? Like she's got the really baggy pants, untucked shirt. It's got that like emo era looking writing, scribbling writing. So that's definitely the vibe I get. The colored hair.
Yeah,
definitely like early 2000s punk emo style music is what it looks like to me from that album cover.
I call this Billie Eilish core.
I was gonna say her outfit looks like a Billie Eilish fit.
I'm surprised I had not heard of her, considering she like runs in the same circles as Brockhampton. But yeah, album art, I guess similar to Alec. I can tell this album is going to be depressing. Also, because the first song is called "Stupid." So maybe
she actually wrote it about me. Just wanted to see if you guys think that's really what I am like.
Probably. Well, actually, I ghost wrote the song for her. So
all right. So yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I think you know a guy.
Yeah, but I think it'll be.
Yeah.
I think it'll be an album.
Yeah, it will be. I am giving you guys The Message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five from 1982.
All right.
Before we started recording, I just said, "Hey, Jared, 1980 or 1982," and he said 82. So that's the album I picked.
There we go.
Yep. I was debating between two, and I think I'm gonna save the next one for another time. But yeah, so in hindsight, it looks like Jared actually picked this album.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
The album art immediately reminds me of Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee's movie.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a great movie.
I've heard of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. I don't know where they're from.
New York, I believe.
New York. Okay. Yeah, this looks exciting. R&B and soul. I like all their outfits. I like the poses they're doing. This looks fun. So this would be 6 people in total, right?
Yeah, I believe it is Grandmaster Flash, and then there's 5 others.
There's 7 people on the cover.
Yeah, there is.
Who's the
Listen,
who's the extra?
I don't know.
Huh. I hope they tell me.
They probably won't. I don't think this is like Migos where they're gonna announce themselves before their verse.
Grandmaster Flash.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that. But Benjamin.
Yeah, I mean this is definitely an 80s looking album, without question. This was the early days of
This is like the birth of hip hop.
Really early days of hip hop. This even has it classified as R&B, which I don't agree with. Yeah, it's gonna be. I can already tell what the cadence is gonna be.
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Yeah. I've heard of Grandmaster Flash before as well. I don't know if I've heard any of it. I probably have heard some of the songs somewhere.
Yeah, I think you guys have heard the title track.
Hip hop started out in the park. Something like that.
Yeah, I think you guys have heard The Message, which is like
they have a showdown album. They have a showdown against the Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, this is incredible. I might have to listen to this.
Yeah.
Each song's at 44 minutes. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like birth of hip hop era, birth of rap era music.
Hip and a hop, a hip down the hop, like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm excited. I like that stuff. Just to see where
origins
change. You know,
I like listening to like the origins of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then like we both listen. And then like one of the albums that I gave you guys a while ago was Tupac and Biggie, like 2 of the great rappers ever.
And
he did the Waylon Jennings.
Yep.
That one too.
I like digging in the roots and seeing what they look like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I gave you
what it sounds like.
Which is Culture 2 is another turning
Shut
point.
up.
Yeah. All right. Ready for mine?
No.
Yeah. All right. So I'm giving you guys The Rotters Club by Hatfield in the North. This is an album from 1975. It's a soft rock album from an English group. I don't know how many people are in the band. I heard it somewhere, no idea where. And I really liked it. So I'm giving it to you guys. Yeah, what's the one song I really liked? I think Share It was the one song I really liked. But yeah, I really like this album. I'm excited to see what you guys think. We don't give each other many like old albums. It's probably the oldest. This is probably one of the oldest albums we've given. I think Alex Waylon Jennings' album was probably the oldest.
Yeah, probably. But this is
75. It's pretty damn old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the album cover though. It looks like even for the 70s, it kind of looks like vintage art. Like maybe it was like kind of like a vintage thing back in the 70s. But like it reminds me like a movie poster.
Yeah. I mean,
is this your record label?
Yeah.
Figured.
You see what it was?
Yep.
Virgin Records.
Yeah.
Boom.
Got destroyed.
Yeah, I like the art. It kind of looks like it honestly looks like the woman is drawing cover art.
Yeah, I didn't even look at what she's drawing.
Like it looked like just the shape of that paper. It looks like she's drawing a cover for.
It looks like a South Park episode. Am I crazy?
I can't turn.
Does it look like she's drawing a
to look at it?
Yeah, I'm turning my phone upside down. I'm looking at it. It looks like every episode of South Park when all the townspeople are like crowded together screaming at probably Randy.
It does look like a South Park. Person in front with their arms raised. Really.
Yeah, that specifically looks like a character.
He does. They do have a few songs that are like under a minute, followed by a 20-minute song.
You don't. How long into the album is the 20-minute song?
So it's the 9th song.
All right, I don't know. If it's one of the 5 bonus tracks, you probably don't have to listen to it.
It probably is. It's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. No.
I guess that's the last song on the album.
Yeah, I think, yeah, because 10 is when.
Yeah,
that's 10 is the same as 3.
Yeah, so that's a bonus one.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No,
10,
wait,
11, 12, 13, 14 are all bonus tracks.
Yeah,
But
you
they're
know,
short. I'll probably end up listening to the whole thing.
there you go, man.
Yeah, I'll try it out.
I'm
All
excited.
right, Alec. I'm excited to see what your random thought is.
Yes.
Well, I can see what it is, but I need it extrapolated.
Why don't you tell everybody while I try to plan my words?
All right. It says Fight Club. I don't know if this is in reference to the movie.
No, it is not in reference to the
Okay.
movie, but it does tie into movies.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is, as I talk, I'm going to start typing a list of movie characters that, should there be a movie character fight club, I want to know who you want to see in it. No superheroes.
Dick Cheney from Vice.
Oh my God, no. Like I was immediately John Wick was
John
number
Wick.
one.
He wins.
I don't know, because Tyler Rake from Extraction was insane. Very John Wick like. I would like to see Brian Mills in there.
Who?
Brian Mills, Liam Neeson's character from Taken.
Okay.
And then I also had the bride from Kill Bill, Uma
Kill
Thurman.
Bill. Okay.
Those are the 4 that I got, and I'm like, these would be epic battles between these people.
So we can add some to these.
Yes, please add whoever you
but
think
no,
might be a good one. No,
just regular people.
Regular
just skilled.
people.
Okay.
Regular people. No superheroes. No vigilantes. I was trying to think of like assassin kind of movie characters that just like they just like walk through everyone and have a massive kill count by the time the movie's over.
Whoops.
Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men.
Oh, yeah, I'll put that. Anton. Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
James Bond.
And those 2 are 2 that I thought of, but was considering leaving out because they're more like spies.
Like,
right.
Like, I don't know if they would be like same. You can leave them there for argument's sake, but hear what you guys think of, because they're more of like, I don't know. I feel like they're not quite on the same tier as like John Wick, you know?
Right.
I don't know, Daniel. It depends what iteration, because Bond's or Daniel Craig's Bond is pretty lethal. He's a pretty good fighter.
People that are like movies that are made for the people to like around. I guess maybe like Jason Bourne, where the whole point of the movie is that he was trained to like kill people. I feel like that's
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Get him out of here. Let's see. I feel like I just watched something recently.
Duncan Idaho from Dune, I feel like is a good one.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good fighter.
The only other people I could think of were the 6 underground characters. They were all pretty good, but they were all like specialties, you know?
Right.
Like I don't remember what numbers they were. The 2 that were romantic with each other.
Yeah, I don't remember any of the numbers.
Those 2, other than Ryan Reynolds being 1, and then the guy he recruited being 7. I don't remember. Those are the only two I remember.
Yeah.
But they were pretty solid. They were pretty good, but they all had specialty things. Like I don't think they would like the parkour guy got demolished in a fist fight. So like
Yeah.
I don't think any of them would really succeed in this kind of a thing.
Charles
I put
from Bronson.
Hmm.
His entire
Charles Bronson. Yep. I put Jack Reacher. I
Mhm.
don't know if you guys know them.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I was gonna say Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible, but he's like a even less of a James Bond than James Bond.
Jordan Belfort from Wolf of Wall Street.
That'd actually be good. Just put some give him
Just
some
put some
quaaludes,
randoms in here.
let him loose.
Driver from Drive, I feel like it's another good one.
Oh yeah. Best fighters in film.
Ryan Gosling's character from La La Land.
Oh yeah, how far can we go back in movies? Like, could a knight be a regular person?
I guess so.
Gladiator. Forget his name. Maximus? Yeah, Maximus.
Yeah.
And then this almost feels like cheating, but the Ip Man, the Chinese martial artist master.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't.
Yeah,
remember.
he fights like 60 people at once or something crazy.
Yeah.
What was his name? From Kingsman. I'm just blank.
Oh, Eggsy?
Eggsy? No.
Not the main character.
No.
Colin Firth's character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. Colin Firth, Kingsman. His name was.
The scene in the church is probably like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh come on. Harry Galahad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I'm thinking of more. Yeah, John Wick is pretty insane.
I think he wins just by
Yeah.
merit.
Although honestly, the bride could probably hold her own against him.
She did kill like 40 people wielding swords.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, because like there are some that just get like destroyed.
Yeah.
Like almost immediately. Like I feel like Charles Bronson gets destroyed because he's good at fighting like people in jail, but like that's about it.
See ya, Charles Bronson.
I honestly think the bride, John Wick, Tyler Rake, and Galahad are the top four in this entire thing.
Yeah.
Some of these are just like normal people. Like Driver is just like a normal guy. Like
like he wasn't fighting like other skilled people for the most part.
Like drug an old guy into the ocean.
Yeah.
I think we'll leave our top 10. Are we eliminating Driver?
I think we should.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, but where's Joker on this list?
Oh yeah.
He's a villain. He doesn't count. So these are our top 10.
Depends who you ask.
Yeah.
Well, like what universe's roles are we fighting in? Because it seems like in the John Wick universe, like he can sustain an incredible amount of damage and still be like relatively okay. But in Joker, like one bullet will like, not that Joker's not on here, but
no, I do not know what their hit points are.
Yeah, or like in Dune, does Duncan Idaho have like the kinetic shield thing? Because like that can reasonably protect him from like every attack that anyone like.
I think for argument's sake, we're gonna put all of these characters in the movie Fight Club, and go off of that.
It's just like a boxing ring.
Yep, they're in that movie.
All right, well then,
and Brad Pitt is their ringleader. Right? Isn't that who was in that movie? That's what I thought.
The fist fighting.
Yep. So they're all in that movie.
So who's your pick to win then? If it's
just fist fighting, I think Ip Man does it.
I think Duncan Idaho does it.
You think? How good is he without weapons?
Oh, he's really good. In Dune, he was able to beat. He got stabbed like through the heart and stood up and continued to like take people on. So
this whole list would be insane to watch in that kind of a setting.
Yeah.
It's easier to eliminate people than it is to like decide who wins.
Yeah, I think Anton Chigurh is way too slow.
Yeah.
People who use guns, like we're not using guns in a boxing. I think even John Wick might be a little weak in like a
fist fighting. Yeah. Yeah, I think Tyler Rake versus John Wick. I think Tyler's got the edge.
Yeah.
We also can't ignore that we have like a gladiator from like Roman.
Yeah, we do.
He's gonna get destroyed like immediately with, like modern combat techniques.
Yeah.
He was a slave. He's not a professional fighter.
Yeah, he's just going for like heavy punches. He has like 2 moves, light punch and heavy punch.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel everyone on this is incredibly tough though too.
Yeah.
Like John Rake got shot through the neck and somehow survived, and they're making a sequel to Extraction.
Yeah.
It's either gonna be Ip Man or Duncan Idaho, I think, that wins.
Yeah. I kind of agree in that kind of a setting. Now, if we're doing this like what's it called? The one TV show where they used to Deadliest Warriors. If we're making it like that, I'm trying to think. I love Deadliest Warriors. That was a great show.
Get home from school every day and like boot up an episode. It would be like George Washington versus Napoleon.
Yeah.
Like blow a cannon into some like test dummy from like 10 feet away. You'd be like, oh, look at the damage on this test dummy.
Yeah, I know. And then they did the episode I remember the most because it was my favorite was like the Navy SEALs versus like some British
the SAS.
Yeah, it was something like that. This is amazing. I was like, they need to do more of this.
They did like the IRA versus like the Russian like the Russian Secret Service.
The IRA.
And it was like, yeah, the IRA win. The IRA, I think like they won because they had like car bombs with like shrapnel in them.
Oh, give me a break.
I'm pretty sure the Russian military would have beat the IRA.
Yeah.
They had the
and they're like, we simulated 300 battles and so won 200 out of 300. I'm like, okay.
The weapons data into a simulator. Let's run the simulation. And they had like a really bad like dramatization of
battle.
They did like SS versus like Viet Cong, and I think the Viet Cong won.
No, I thought it was SS versus not SS. Who was it? I think there was a Russian group versus SWAT.
That could have been another one.
This one says Crazy Horse versus Pancho Villa.
Yeah, and they did like Ivan the Terrible versus Genghis Khan.
Yeah, obviously, like Genghis Khan's gonna win. Like Ivan the Terrible.
Joan of Arc versus William the Conqueror.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, this is great. Saddam Hussein versus Pol Pot.
My favorite one was Jesse James versus Al Capone.
Oh, this one's Teddy Roosevelt versus Lawrence of Arabia.
These are just turning into like rap.
Yeah, this is like epic rap battles of history.
It was the IRA versus the Taliban.
Oh yeah.
The Yakuza versus the Mafia.
Yeah,
a good one.
Viking Samurai. It was SWAT versus GSG-9.
Mm-hmm.
And that's German police. That's right.
What about me versus Jared?
Me.
No way.
Oh, whatever. And Spartans versus ninjas.
Yeah. And then
I feel like they just at some point they just asked an 8-year-old, hey, what are 2 of your favorite things that you want to see fight?
The KGB versus the CIA.
I think that one was pretty good.
Navy SEALs versus Israel Commando.
You're watching it and you're like, man, this show like sucks. Like the production
value. Well, it did suck because the last episode they did was vampires versus zombies.
But then you're like, this is like, you just like have to see how it pans out, and then like you start to root for them, and you're like, man, I really hope this.
Green Beret versus Spetsnaz.
Mm-hmm. And like
Teddy Roosevelt versus Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
people that they would bring in to test the weapons were like insane. They would be like, all right, so for the Yakuza, we have like a basically like a katana wielding like master, and they would like set him up to like test the hand speed of the katana or whatever by like slashing a dummy, and he would like just stand there for like 15 minutes after they're testing, like cutting this thing's head off. Like, bro.
Yeah, this show is awesome. I wish
I've never even heard of it until now.
they had 3 seasons of it, so like it was nice. It was on I think it was on Spike TV.
Yeah.
Time.
That doesn't work. That's not a thing anymore. Spike
Spike was for the guys. Spike was
Yeah.
a guys network.
Dude channel.
wasn't that was where Fear Factor was?
Fear
for a
Factor,
while.
1,000 Ways to Die, Deadliest Warrior. They had the show called Mansers as well, where I remember seeing an episode and it was like, what if you got shot in the arm? How would you remove the bullet? What is reasonably getting shot in the arm?
Have you guys ever seen those videos of someone who's like, oh, this is how I'd survive this car crash, and it's a car like bouncing down the side of a cliff?
Yeah.
That's definitely something that would get a TV show on Spike.
This my buddy watches this YouTube channel that he hates. He hates the guy, and I guess he like rage watches it or whatever. But the guy, most recently, what he did was he just broke down every challenge in Squid Game and said how he would win each one easily. And every single one, he's basically cheating. He's like, well, I would assume blah, 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 blah. The one with the marble game, literally his plan was, well, I would already know about the game going in.
Okay.
The glass panes, he said he would just walk on the metal parts on the outside instead of touching the glass.
Yeah.
As if they're not going to shoot you dead for trying that.
Can you imagine being that like cocky? You're like,
yeah, I know. I
would win easily.
Yeah, but I think that kind of wraps up our episode today.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much for listening or watching, depending on how you are consuming our show. We will see you all next week, where we will discuss what we brought up this week as usual. Bye, everybody. Thank you all very much.